Hello there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gisele and I'm trying out an interesting experiment which will involve myself, The Sims, and parallel realities. Last time in my introductory video, I explained how the original The Sims came out when I was 16 and supposedly studying to take my O-levels. However, what I was doing really was playing on my new computer. Meanwhile, my best friend Marie really was studying her days away, diligently making notes as she went and prompt sheets to go over right before each exam. Now, what would have happened if I too had studied more? Most of the world would assume I'd have gotten better grades. Instead, I would say I would not have been myself. The idea of parallel realities is likely not new to your ears. Even back before The Sims came out, Gwyneth Paltrow starred in Sliding Doors, a film which brilliantly explored just how one tiny second's difference could impact the path of a person's life so very drastically. If you've seen this film at some point, leave me a comment below and tell me which of her two lives do you think turned out the best for her. Ever since I was small, it fascinated me how, whilst we are in these bodies and call ourselves humans, we seem to be more our mind and spirit than the form. Now, in recent years, the idea of parallel realities seems to have become more prevalent. After all, please tell me I am not the only one to wonder how my keys were not there the first 20 times I looked, but then I looked again and found them to be in the exact same place where they were not. Short of reality shifting, I don't know what that is. The law of attraction rules that like attracts like, therefore letting the mind focus on what it wants to see from a bigger array of things and situations, all of them present around it, which are all there. It teaches about vibration, that everything is actually energy being interpreted by our senses, and that we can only visualize around us a reality made up of things that are perceivable to our mind given its current state of belief. In other words, there have always been many red cars on the road, but you will notice that only after you've ordered your new red car. It is about the conscious expectance of the existence of that which you are concentrating on. As in the example of the keys, that would mean that the keys were always there, only your mind cannot see that which it believes to be missing. However, there is a similar rule, made famous by the late mystic Neville Goddard, that is called the law of assumption, and which dictates that once you assume something to be true, then it is. In this case, it is not that the keys are there and you are too harrowed to notice them. Rather, the keys are there in some realities and not in others. And whichever of the two states you believe to be true, then it will be true for you, and you get to reap the benefit of, or suffer the consequences of the lack of, that item, situation, or state that you perceive to be or to be missing from your life. In other words, we're in Schrödinger's cat experiment territory. I always root for the cat being alive once the box is opened, but sadly, given an infinite number of realities we could explore, I would assume that he has died in some. Rest in peace, famous cat. So back to the topic at hand and my assumption that you are still all here curious to know what's next. Click on like and subscribe if you are invested in my experiment and are going to tune in to the next video in which my sim self will start her simulated life in the name of metaphysics.